right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 19 of the Danger Ranger podcast. I'm here with one of my former privates and tabs, Joey Vanheel, also known as Van Squeal, or as I called him in my phone for a while, Van Hell. So we're just gonna talk about our time in the same squad. We were in the same squad for the longest time, and we moved out of the barracks together. So we were roommates, and we've got some some fun stories to talk about tonight. So Joe, what's up, dude?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me. And we got plenty of memories. Been together the entire time, at least since I was in.
Pretty much, except for my stint over to weapons.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were still roommates at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just do a brief talk about your background, kind of like why you joined the Army, why you went regiment, a little bit about RASP, and then we'll go from there. So why did you pick Ranger Regiment?
Well, I actually didn't pick Ranger Regiment. My recruiter picked Ranger Regiment for me, because when I went to the recruiter's office, right, that was back in October of 2016, and they were telling me they didn't have, because I was like, I was talking to my dad. I brought the brochure home, and he's like, oh, well, you should go be like a combat engineer. You can take that with you after you get out, trying to find jobs that I could like take with me to the civilian side after.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, I want to be infantry. He's like, okay, whatever. So I went there, told the recruiter, I want to be infantry. I want to be 11 Bravo. He said, well, we don't have any slots open for that. And I was like, you don't have any slots for being an infantryman in the Army? I said, all right, well, give me a call when you guys get a slot, because like that's the only thing I want to do. And gave me a call 2 days later. It's like, well,
of course,
I got you a slot, man. But he's like, I got you an option 40. And I said, okay, well, I don't know what that is, but what is it? And then kind of told me about it. He told me to go take a day or so, whatever, to think about it. So I went home, had my dad sit down with me and watched what was it, that video? It was like the RAS video.
Oh yeah.
One. Watched that, and my dad was like, you sure you think you got what it takes? I was like, I don't know, but I'll give it a shot. And so I went back there, and hindsight, I should have been more stingent, because he told me, he's like, well, since I got you that's your bonus. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And didn't know that you could get a bonus too as well. But
dude, I didn't know that either. That's all I cared about when I got mine. I was just like, hey, I gives two fucks about getting a bonus. I was like, I literally had a fight to get my option 40, and I was happy with that. So I probably could have gotten a little bit of something too, but whatever.
And they tried to stray me away from that too, because when I took the ASVAB and the GT score, I mean, it wasn't like anything phenomenal. I think I had like a 72 on the ASVAB and a 119 GT score. But when I told them I wanted to go do that, they were like, well, there's a bunch of other things you could go do instead of that. And I was like, well, I'm good. I'm all right. I'll do that. Give it a shot, and so I didn't really pick it. I kind of like became more invested in it throughout watching videos. And then I was like, oh, this seems kind of cool. This seems kind of fun. I'll give it a shot. But didn't really know what I was in for until it hit. So
that's funny. No, that I had a similar kind of thing too with mine, because I scored really high on the ASVAB, and I had a high GT score, and they were trying to get me to like do some kind of nuclear freaking engineer shit. And I was just like, nah, dude, I want infantry. They're like, they had my my high school GPA, and they're like, you're smart. What are you doing? I was like, I want Ranger, bro. Fuck off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so that's pretty much how it got started. I mean, going back to, it's like the main reason why I joined was, so I was doing college for a year and a half at a community college beforehand, and then it was my third semester, and I was working for a moving company the entire time, pretty much. Mainly during like the summer, I was working a lot of hours to save up to pay for it. And then the fall semester of 16 hit, and had college algebra 2, and I took that 2 days in, and I spent 9 hours on 3 questions that were supposed to be reviewed. And I was like, this is not it. So I dropped the class, went to the recruiter's office the next day, and I said, no, we're not doing this. I didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't really have a purpose. And I kind of thought about law enforcement is where I was like thinking, but I was like, what's a better thing than go in the military and go do something, and then I can have that as a resume when I get out or whatnot. And so, yeah, that kind of led me into going into the military from there, and then option 40, and the rest is history.
The
So
rest is history. So you
mhm.
showed up to RASP. You had at least the knowledge of what RASP was from the it wasn't Surviving the Cut. It was a separate like offshoot video, I think, that you're talking
Yep,
about, where it follows that one like, I mean,
class. Yep,
they're all bald, but it's like that one older dude.
yep.
Um, I actually met him.
Did
The
you?
name is literally escaping me. I was going to church in basic, and he was like the Mormon like rep that like picked us up from basic to take us to church.
Really?
Yeah, so it was like me and my buddy, and he had an option 42, and it was the guy, the main guy of that
Is it
show.
is it Porter? Is that
Yeah, Porter. Yeah, Porter.
Porter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Porter. And so we're just like picking his brain every time we drive to church and stuff. And I think it was actually Airborne School that he was the rep for it, because like at basic you would just walk to the chapel, but he would pick us up from Airborne and drive us. But that was kind of cool meeting him, and then getting more info about RASP before we showed up.
Mhm.
So showed up to RASP. How was your RASP experience?
Well, I almost actually didn't do RAS, because so when I did basic, one of the drill sergeants there, he wasn't in regiment, but he was an RI, or used to be an RI for Ranger School. And I think my basic class had like 60 people with option 40s in it.
Damn.
And yeah, and so what he did is every single day, whether we were out the range or something, he would call all, he'd be like, option 40s, get over here. So we all run over there, and he'd be like, all right. And he's like, so I'm gonna say the creed, give me 6 for the creed. Well, none of us knew what the creed were. Still trying to learn the soldier's creed and all that
Infantryman's
stuff.
creed, all that, but yeah, all the
Yeah.
bullshit.
And so he called us over and say, all right, learn like Ranger Creed. And none of us knew it, and we never got stuff on to learn it. So he said he'd give us one word every day, and he'd smoke us the entire time while everybody else is going through the line to get their food. And then he would send us through and give us three to 5 minutes to eat. And then we'd be smoking us the entire time. And after like 3 or 4 weeks, I was like, man, I'm tired of this. I'm not going over there. Who cares? Like, I was like, he's not gonna know that, I don't go over there. Like, it's not like they keep Italian. But my drill sergeant, because that he was in a different platoon.
Yeah.
My drill sergeant knew, and every time he'd come over, he's like, Vanheel, what are you doing over here? Get your ass over there. I'm like, all right, sergeant. So I ran over there, but I was like contemplating. I'm like, man, I don't even. And I was making excuses the entire time. I was like, man, I don't even like, I want to earn it. I don't want to like just have gotten it because of contract. Like, I want to go to my regular unit and then go. And I think I was just having FOMO because people were
Yeah.
getting like slots to Hawaii and Germany. I was like, I want to go do that. I don't want to be doing more training, but I ended up
Dude,
sticking
that's a
with it.
trap. That's a
I
trap.
know.
People just get sick in the basic, and they're like, I just want to be at my unit, man. I can always go back later. Hey, for the dudes listening out there, that's the biggest fucking thing you got to fight is that, because chances are you're not going to get a chance to go back because
Nope.
you dropped it one, and just being at that unit, like, you're not going to get the time to properly train up and to get to go, because there's going to be other dudes who are going to be better than you at that unit who are going to take those slots. So if you have an option 40, you need to see it through. But
Yep.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I felt
So
the same thing though. I was just like, fuck, man, like, I want to go somewhere, but I was like, no, I joined to do this. So
yeah, and that was a big thing too. It's like, man, I went through basic, and you hear all the stories from like, and obviously it's changed, but you hear the story from old timers or anybody saying, oh, well, basic will break you, basic will fix you, like, whatever, break you down and then build you up. And man, basic for me, it was like, it was just kind of annoying. It wasn't like, you see how some kids go AWOL, some kids freak out, and they didn't understand it's just a game,
yeah.
like, they'd be like, the drill sergeants would find a rapper somewhere, and they're like, who did it? It's like, man, they planted it. Like, it's just a game. Like, come on now. But so I didn't, basic was just kind of whatever for me. And so I was like, I kind of want to like go get tested a little bit more. And I was
Yeah.
always, somewhat of an athletic person. I played football in high school and whatnot. And so I kind of wanted to, with watching the videos, and I was like, I kind of want to push myself a little bit. I want to actually kind of do something that is challenging, give it. So yeah. So then that's why I fully committed, did the airborne school, which I know it's changed now, but
Yeah.
did the airborne school and then got to RASP. And yeah, that first, I don't know if they still do, but yeah, the run from airborne school, then you get there and then they run you over and do all the bag dumps and, and then they ask, and I know that's why they changed it now, but they ask like, who wants to drop their contract right now, or who wants to quit right now? And I think about half the kids out of the group that I ran
Holy
with,
shit.
because everybody just did it, to get the
To get
airborne.
airborne, yeah.
Yep. And they're like, oh, I'll go to 80 seconds. So half the kids quit right there and then. And so I was left with like half the class left. And but yeah, that was a big, big kind of kick in the area at the start, running there, and then kind of seeing, you can just see the intensity level difference. And it's not as in like more screaming, it's more of like just a serious like check vibe of like, okay, these guys are a little bit.
Oh, these guys are fucking serious, because they really don't scream at you, and at least when they did the airborne pickup, and it's probably similar to what it'll be like for the dudes that go right to it from basic, but it's a quiet, like just quiet, scary looking dudes, like NCOs who pick you up, and then they're just like really intimidating, and the word choices they use when they're like trying to get people to quit, really it really gets into people's heads, and it gets people to quit.
Yeah, they're like well-trained psychiatrists within that field, dude. It's weird, but
that's why I'm kind of a little sad that I wouldn't have minded being a RASP cadre, honestly. Like, that's a kind of a fun job.
Yeah.
But yeah, so bag dumps, half the group quit. They're like, oh man, 82nd. That's the whole reason. That's the whole reason the 82nd exists, is to take the RASP washouts and the 18 X-ray washouts.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so I got there, did the layouts, and then I think that was in end of May-ish, and then had like a 3-week chill time, not chill time, but time in
pre-RASP. Yeah.
Yep. And that was interesting, same schedule of wake up, do PT, go get a time act to shower, get your ruck, get on the rocks, and then go to chow, come back, sit on the rocks again. Now I didn't understand it at that time why we would just sit on the rocks the entire time, but it was in June to July-ish, so it was super hot, and I was like, oh, this makes sense to probably, acclimating us to the heat, because for people that don't know, I'm from Minnesota. Right? I lived in Minnesota for 19 years, and so Georgia heat, Georgia humidity, yeah, not my forte, especially at the beginning. So I definitely needed the acclimating period, because I was not acclimated to it whatsoever. And yeah, and then had the 4th of July, like little break, whatever, and then I started, or no, actually, sorry, rewind. Started 2 days before 4th of July, like we did. We started for like those 2 days, and then they sent us on like a 4-day pass, and then came back and then resumed like that first, like, well, we actually resumed at the beginning, like that Monday, and then they essentially didn't count the first 2 days. They said, oh, this was just, whatever. So they didn't count those first 2 days as like the first week. So we still did the whole first week then.
Damn.
Yeah, but they got a couple people well, actually, they only got like 2 kids to quit that first like 2 days, because everybody was like, oh, like we got the 4-day break, so it's
yeah, it's like, oh, we just got to make it to the 4-day break. And they pulled the little switcher. Not we're starting over.
Yeah, exactly.
Did people quit after that, at that point, or were they just like, whatever?
Yeah, we man, so yeah, my first class, we had 162 people, I think, or 160. And yeah, the first 2 days didn't really have much people, but then when we restarted that next week, yeah, we had and it was a lot. We had a lot of heat cats. I think by the time we started the second week and going to Coal Range, we were left with probably like 125-ish. So we lost about like 35, 40 people. And I want to say at least like 10 to 15 were heat cats.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. And then, after that, in the first week, it was more intense, a lot more intense, but nothing like too crazy. And I thought too that it was going to be like 24/7, whatever. But, once dinner rolled around, you had the time to kind of recover, which is good. And yeah, but then we went to Coal Range, and that was the doer, as you will say. We had a lot of heat cats there too, and what do you call it? Yeah, land navigation for me, as you know, land nav is not my forte,
Yeah.
and that's why I ended up getting recycled my first one.
Okay.
Not great at land nav, and it's not like I'm bad, but the only time I did it was in basic, right? And so
basic land nav sucks.
yes, so for all you guys that are listening that are thinking about going, go do some practice land nav
Go watch my
beforehand.
videos.
Yes, because like what you do in basic is not enough, and especially with the conditions that you'll be in at Coal Range, you'll be tired. It's going to be dark. A lot of times I did one iteration in basic of nighttime, but it wasn't that great. And then your feet are going to hurt, so you're going to be a lot slower. You're going to be thinking you're seeing witches in the woods and stuff like that. Or for me, you're going to run into a boar and you're going to have to run on the side of the road.
Was that your first Coal Range that you hit the boar or ran into the boar?
Oh, yeah, man. That was my, because you know how you can't, you're not allowed to use the paved roads,
Right.
as in pretty much all the time you do land nav in the military. And yeah, I think it was the second to last iteration. It was like the day to night. And I'm walking through this super thick woods that I like terrain with all the thorn bushes, and I can't even like really get through it. And all of a sudden I stopped because I thought I heard something. And then I hear kind of like a sound. And I'm like, what is that, man? I was like, I take another step forward, and then I kind of like hear something like start to kind of move. And then all of a sudden, like, I was about to turn on my light, and then I start hearing something running towards me. No, I hopped straight on that road, and I ran all the way towards that corner and took the corner running into Coal Range. I said, nope, not doing it. If they drop me for this, it's all right. I'm out. But yeah, so I got back that last iteration, and we actually had a chill last night compared to my second class, because when I came back, you go every time you go for an iteration, you come back and there's less people there every single time. And yeah, when I got back to Coal Range that last night, I want to say there was like 40 people left.
Damn.
We had lost throughout the 4 days, lost almost like 100 people.
Shit.
Yeah, from heat cats to people just disappearing because come back from land nav and they're gone.
They weren't able to outrun the boars, dude.
They weren't.
The boars got them.
They did. Natural selection, man. And yeah, so they got back like with like 40 people left, and they just let us sleep the whole night.
They're like, all right, we hit our quota, dude. We don't need to fuck with these guys anymore.
Exactly, hit their quota, and then yeah, got on the bus the next morning, got back, and all beaten up. And yeah, and then called me in their office, said, hey man, didn't meet the expectations we wanted. You either want to rip your patch off and leave, or you want to redo it with the next class. I said, all right, I guess I'm doing it with the next class. And yeah, so I think they recycled like probably like 20 of us.
Oh damn.
And only like 5 or 6 of us decided to redo it again.
Really?
Yeah, and then as I'm in pre-RASP again, and then about to like starting our next class, and then that class, my first class, ended up graduating with 12
Holy
people.
shit.
Yeah, 12 people out of like 160, which is unheard
That's pretty
of.
low numbers. It used to be like that back in a RIP, and then it started. Not recently, but like the classes after I went through, like they started to really like, I guess, making it harder, and it was a lot less because we were overstaffed at the time. Like when I was a private, and we were like getting rid of dudes quickly. Like if privates hadn't been to school, like they were getting RFS'd. So I guess that's kind of why they upped the ante at RAS, because they're like, hey, we don't need as many guys right now.
Yeah, and I won't talk too much about it, but yeah, they ended up the second time I went through, they switched a lot of the RIs out because there was some interesting debacle going on because like a lot of heat cats and saying like they didn't
Mm.
acclimate them well enough. And but it was July and August
It's
in
July.
Georgia.
Yeah, that shit's hot.
Yeah, that's just how, I mean, we had a lot of heat cats, but it's like, like I almost heat catted one of the times. I was feeling pretty rough, but yeah, I mean, hey, if Minnesota boy can do it,
Everyone
you
else is
can.
a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, but so they changed a lot of the cadre around the second time, and we
Hmm.
actually had like they were doing some video recording because I think they were trying to like, I don't know if that's when they kind of started pushing more for the recruiting, like recruiting videos and stuff that they came out with. Like on YouTube now you can look up like RAS and it's a little bit different, better
Yeah.
quality recruiting videos. So they kind of did that and whatnot. But yeah, we switched in and then went back the second time and we started with 172 this time. And I think we graduated with like probably 60. So it kind of changed because I think, you know, they upped the ante after you. And then like between that class of like 12 people, I think they kind of realized like, hey, we need to tone it down a little bit, and we need more people to come through. But I mean, it was still is hard. But I definitely after that first time definitely changed a lot of my mentality. I'd say definitely the first time kind of broke me down and built me back up because the second time I was going through, I was kind
I'm
of an
just
asshole.
chilling.
I knew what to expect. Everything was pretty much the same. I was kind of an asshole to a lot of people because, I was like, I'd already, been through the
Done
hardest
the
part.
two hard. Yeah, the hardest parts of is the first two
Yeah.
weeks.
And so I see all the kids, we're on the logs or whatever. And
The
some
fucking
people aren't.
worms. Did you
Yeah.
guys have
Well,
the worms?
that's when they switched it, that class, my
Uh,
class, they switched it to the worms, which I hated because I'm a shorter dude. I'm 5'7". And so,
No, you're
sometimes when
5'6". You're not 5'7". You're 5'6". Stop lying to
we'll
the
get to
people.
that. We'll get to that. So, sometimes I'm on the log and barely touching, right? So it was a lot easier for me, per se. I mean, I still obviously try to reach it, but if I'm in a group with six, three people, I don't know what you want from me. I can't grow. But yeah, they transitioned to the worms then, and yeah, so but I was trying to get people to quit because I'd see like all the weak people. And I was like almost trying to be another cadre. I was like, man, you're not gonna fucking make it. Just quit. And you're like, oh, but I want to be here. No, just quit, man. You ain't got it.
Dude, you
And
were a
whatever.
dick.
I was a dick because I'd been recycled, so I was angry. I was angry
Dude, you were
Joe.
that angry recycle that no one like. I'm surprised you didn't get beard.
Yeah, honestly, but yeah. So then we graduated with like 60-ish people or so
Okay.
in September. Yeah, September of 2017, and
2017. Yeah.
yep, and then yeah, they just told people what battalion they were going to, and they're like, all right, you're going to first, gonna go to Savannah, which I heard great stories about, saying, beach bat, great
Beach
bat,
bat.
hmm and so yeah, I had like 2 weeks, or not even 2 weeks, it was like a week, and
What?
then they like
Go ahead.
and then they send us over to Fort Stewart to do the
Mhm.
MRC and processing for like the 2 weeks, and then I got over there.
What day did you graduate? Curious, do
Uh,
you remember?
I think it was September, like September 18th or September 28th. It was one of those 2 days, I believe. I have
Okay.
pictures on my phone if I can.
Yeah, because I just remember because I graduated. I was in like Ranger school, like the time you were in RASP.
Mm,
Um, and I graduated the September 22nd, which
that
was a
might
Friday.
let
I
me
wonder if there was a Ranger school and a RASP graduation on the same day.
let me
It's
look up because I'm already back to the pictures. Let's see. Uh, 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 uh. Nope. Right here. September 29th.
okay, so it was a week after.
Yep, September
Gotcha.
29th. So not 28th, 29th. Yeah.
Cool. So graduated MRC bullshit. Showed up to First Ranger Battalion. How was it showing up to First Ranger Battalion?
It was interesting because no one was there. Got
Hmm.
straight to CQ or not CQ, headquarters, and um got kind of walked through whatever. And I'm trying to, if I can remember. Oh yeah, no, so you guys, and I wish I could remember. I don't know if this is the first day or the second day. Um, I think it was still the first day because yeah, they walked me into the cough, and that's when they kind of were pushing out like, who was going to go to what squad, whatever. And I was standing out there, and then they put me right outside of the cage, and then that was my first interaction with you. You walk by, and I remember exactly what you were wearing. You were wearing your black jeans, your black like Chucks. You were wearing your like leather jacket, and you walk by and you stop, you turn, you look at me, and you're like, "The fuck are you doing here?" I was like, "No, I'm told to stow away at this cage, Sarn." And you're like, "I'm not fucking Sarn." And then kicked open the door to the cage as you always did, and I'm just sitting there like, "Okay, nice." And everybody's just walking by me, just giving me dirty looks, and I'm like, I hate this right now. This is way worse than anything I've ever been through.
This was worse than RASP.
Yeah, and
I think I remember because I remember that day because they were like doing a big change in the barracks. They're like trying to move like all the platoons to their own floor, so like everyone was off in the barracks like moving shit.
Yep.
And I remember Bob called me down. He's like, "Hey, we got a fucking new guy. You got to come down." I was like trying to move all my shit from the first floor to the third floor of the barracks. And I was just like in the middle of it. I was like, God damn it, no. But came down, and then yeah, I remember intentionally being mean though. I was like, I'm gonna look like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, but you know what they don't say or don't tell you about is then right after that, then you took me to Target. You drove me to Target, and we went shopping.
Yeah, dude. I had to look out for the new private, and I was like, I'm not gonna let this guy like live in his fucking suicide room. I'm gonna help him out with his shit. Yep.
Yeah, so that was our favorite.
It was an act when I was a dick at work.
Yeah, but that was our first interaction. You were my first. You were like the first, like, out of the whole platoon, the first person that I like had an interaction with, whatever.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah. So, and that was also, it was kind of a weird time too, because that was like, I think you guys had just gotten either back from leave.
We just come back from leave because I graduated Ranger school. I literally dropped my leave packet. Team leader at the time, freaking he called me like before I was graduating. He's like, "Hey, we're going on leave. Like, give me your leave info." And so went to leave, came back, and then they did the whole swapperoo at the barracks.
Yep. Yeah, because I remember, everybody had just gotten kind of back with not, and so it was kind of like a weird era, but it worked out good because it was like I got there right when the training cycle was about to start.
Yeah,
so
no, that's like the best time to show up. Honestly, is like right at the beginning when you can hit all the ranges, you can learn all the battle drills from the start. So, dude, that was a fun training cycle from what I remember because it was the year we were doing striker stuff. So
because
we were prepping to go to Syria, and so they're like, "Oh, you guys got to drive strikers the whole training cycle." So we did that. We did MLAT. It was like winter MLAT that year. You remember that? Your first MLAT?
Yeah, but we
were vehicle crews.
Yeah, which was nice, and we did it all in well, not the company, but the battalion. We went to it was Florida, right?
Yeah, I think it was it was one of the Florida airfields we usually hit.
Yeah, but the vehicle crew, that was yeah, I remember that. That was awesome. A lot easier than the other times that we did it, but yeah. No, and I wasn't because I did the like that training event, and then right after that, because that was like November time we got done with that, and then that's when you guys were gonna try and send me to Ranger school.
Yeah, we had you shave your head and everything, and then we did a jump into Stewart. That same team leader broke his leg, and then you showed up out of nowhere with your shaved head. You're like, I guess I'm not going to Ranger school. We're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because I was so, I mean, everything works out for a reason, but yeah, because you guys are trying to send me in the class at the beginning of January ish or so, and yeah, I was trying to do all the physical, like get my physical and everything done. But you guys were all gone at Camp Oliver in Fort Stewart doing like all the training and stuff, and so no one was really there to kind of like help me out. And I was trying to figure it all out, and lo and behold, I went to go do the physical, and I pissed too much protein. And then went back, did it again, pissed with too much protein again. So then I had to carry around a gallon-sized jug of my pee for the whole day. And I got everything done in the physical, got it signed off at like 4:00 that Friday. the next day I was supposed to report. And but when I went back to headquarters, everybody was gone, so no one could sign it. And so
Oh,
yeah, so then yeah, I got told that next day, all right, well, you're not going with this class. You'll just go whatever. And so I went back with you guys, finished out that training cycle because you guys were going to send me the next class, but I was like, well, why don't I just finish this training cycle out at least, and then
yeah,
go when you guys go on deployment. And
yeah.
which that's another hurtful, that stings because I got told, hey, if you make it straight through, you can hit mid row and come over mid row. And what I went straight through, and then I didn't get to go on mid row.
Nope,
Missed out.
they conned you because
I know.
I remember texting you like when you graduated. I was like working out in the gym in Syria, and like you like hit me up on Snapchat or some shit, and you're like, "Yo, I made it." I was like, "Sick, dude. When you coming over?" And you're like, "I'm not coming over." I'm like, "That's some bullshit." I was pissed.
Well, the reasoning was like the because yeah, like both team leaders had reached out. Like I texted them and reached out. I'm like, hey, whatever I made through, like, sweet, we'll pass it up to first arm at the time. Pass it up. Came back and pretty much said like he just wanted me to stay back at Savannah and kind of recover.
Which is
Which
bullshit.
I was like, I can recover over there, man. I was
Yeah,
like, I'm good. But
it's not like we were doing much.
yeah, so I pretty much just chilled there for 2.5 months, which was nice. It was nice, rarity and whatnot. But yeah, I definitely felt a little bit of FOMO for sure.
Yeah.
But
So you went straight through Ranger School. Backing up a bit, private stories. Is there any particular story that you have from your time as a private that sticks out to you?
oh, I got all the stories, man.
Because I got stories of you too. So you tell you tell a couple first, and then
Yeah, well, they say, you're either a strong ranger or a smart ranger, and I'm definitely not a smart ranger by any means. Anybody can attest that I'm a very strong ranger, but I'm not a smart. And I mean, my first morning that the first morning of that first week, go to do the fast roping, man, and I'm sliding down that rope faster than all hell, and I'm wondering why, because you do fast roping at RASP, and so I'm sliding down fast as shit, and I'm like, I don't know if it was you. Yeah, I think it was you or whoever.
I
And I was
think it
like,
was I don't know if it was me or not.
I think it was the other tab there. You know
Yeah,
what I'm talking about.
I think it was Rod.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
I'm like, hey, specialist, my gloves like suck. Like they're not working. He's like, yeah, you got them on backwards, idiot. I was like, that makes sense. You're right. I did got them on backwards.
Shit, specialist, you right.
Or the other story too that always sticks in my mind is the filling the water can or the gas can up with water, man.
Oh, dude.
You
Forgot
know,
about that one.
yeah, I didn't know the difference between a dark can and a light can, like the dark tan or like a dark brown to the light tan. And yeah, it was like half full. And you guys told me to go fill up all the cans with water. And I said, I will do exactly that. And I
Roger.
didn't use the common sense of, well, I probably should put water in a gasoline. And I sure did. And next thing I know, I'm doing some lunches with the can over my head.
You
Yeah.
got saved from that one because I remember I was pissed and I was gonna make you like lunge all the way to the 10th to get a new can, and then Bob was like, "Nah, that's too much." He said, "We'll just make." You just went to I think the dumpsters at that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many stories. I mean, I guess I would say the most infamous one is a private, the Ray Charles, man. Being right.
Dude, Rach, well, you weren't a private though, were you?
Yeah, I
Oh,
was.
you were. Yeah. Because all right. I'll tell the start of this story, and then you can explain your side. So we're doing a company hit on this like complete. It's like a complete little town out in JRTC, and it was like the third night of missions, and this was like the last one, and like we were anticipating like a long walk after like all this shit, and we take vehicles out, we drop them off at a VRP, and
Downpouring
it's
rain.
pissing rain. It's pissing rain, and we're coming up this hill, and we're about to assault this building, and there's like 3 strands of sea wire like blocking it off. I was a saw gunner, and our squad was the breaching squad for this. So Bob, the team leader, who was my team leader, had the wire cutters and shit, and so I'm up. And we're trying to, like breach it silently at first, and then we start taking contact. And I'm the saw gunner, so I'm up there, supporting him. And the rest of the squad and Joe are like in the back, setting up kind of a base of fire. And I just hear from behind me, "What do you mean you lost the battery cap to your nods?" And what happened was you lost the battery cap to your nods, and you were trying to do a battery change because you didn't change your batteries prior, and you dumped it and then lost the battery cap in the fucking mud on the side of this hill in the dark. And then I heard the squad leader be like, "Fucking goddamn Ray Charles out here." I think that's that's how the name started, was Brownie that said that.
Yeah,
But
so
you tell it from your perspective.
yeah, so lo and behold, I actually did change my batteries. But what happened is the battery that I put in there, it was not the good batteries. They
Oh, it was
were,
like an alkaline.
yeah, a pack that I had bought from
Uh,
fucking Walmart that were shit
mm,
that died in, like, you know, and so I had it on, and we're walking like through when it was downpouring rain, like on the trail, and then we got like through the woods ish area, started walking, and I saw it the flashing red. I was like, oh, well, I'm squared away. I brought another extra battery, even though this shouldn't be it. So I'm, trying to untwist it, and I untwist it, get the battery, put the battery in. But you know how it has that like attached like twisty thing that attaches to keep the cap attached. Well, when I kept trying to twist it, that attachment piece was getting caught in like the area. And so it wasn't like fully seating in there. And so it wasn't working. And I was like trying to figure it out. And so, yeah, a squad leader comes over to me and it's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry, my battery for some reason died, but I've got a new battery in it, but I can't get this going." So he's trying to twist it, trying to get it to get on him. And all of a sudden, that's when we take contact as I'm mid trying to do battery change. So we both get down, and I have the battery, and he's like, "Okay, where's the cap?" And I'm like, "There's no cap. It's gone." And for all that don't know, you can't turn on your nods if you don't got
can't
a
use the
cap.
nods if you don't got the battery cap. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm like trying to look around in the
And
pitch
it's
black.
dark as shit too, because it's cloudy and there's zero loom. So like there's zero ambient light.
Yep. And we're trying to find the cap and can't find the cap. And so I just stayed with the medic the whole time till you guys breached, because I was supposed to be up there with
Yeah,
Bob
you're
to
supposed to be
cut
up there with us.
to like provide security on the seawire and stuff, and that went to shit. But it all worked out, because after that we assaulted through the building, or got to the building. We didn't assault through it, but when we
Yeah,
got to
we were
this
like the security for the outside.
when we got to the CCP,
Wasn't it Doug? I think Doug
yeah,
was the casualty, and you're like, "Hey,
I
dude, I'm taking your nods."
yeah, I took his nods and gave him mine, and that was like, man, I remember, because like we just pulled security a lot of that time, and
Yeah.
it was you and Bob were just, you guys were roasting me, and then you guys were just like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck you up so bad when we get back." And I was just sitting there like pissed off, not pissed off at you guys, but I was so pissed off at myself, because I was like, man, like I was squared away, and it just, shit happens, and you guys are just, I'm just like, it wasn't, I was getting mad that I was gonna get smoked, but I was mad at myself, and I'm like just pissed. And you guys were
Yeah.
just, the entire night I'm sitting out there in the cold rain in the prone, and I'm just like, just hearing, "Oh, we're gonna fuck you up," and I'm just like, man, I fucking hate this shit. And
I want to go home.
yeah, we get
And then
back, and
and then we didn't fuck you up,
no, he
because we were
did.
all fucking tired as shit too.
Yeah, and yeah, so that was infamous Ray Charles story. And trying to think of any other funny private stories. I mean, we got the ones where, um I remember we were running back from the field,
Oh
right? The
yeah, it
open
was like a
field.
platoon live fire rehearsal.
Yeah. And privates don't be last, but it was like the more senior privates were trying to stop us.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like me and a couple other the newer privates had to get back. And me being me, ran stiff armed one of them, gave him a bloody nose, and I got back, and I was like back first. Everybody else got tangled up, and I got back, and
I have a video of that fight. They
I don't
ensued
remember.
after that.
I don't remember. I think it was Bob, or someone was like, well, "Why'd you leave? Why'd you leave your other ranger buddies?" And I was like, "Well, it's not natural selection. I mean, they couldn't make it, and I did." He's like, "Fair enough." And then yeah, that was a funny one, doing some of those. But yeah, and then I had the one where um probably I'd say that's probably the most I got smoked as a private, because I did when you were working in the armory, and they told me to get you for something, and I just said your last name without the rank. And then I tried to play it off because I went straight to the bathroom after, because I knew I fucked up. And I just hear my name getting called from when I'm in the bathroom from the cage. And I'm like, oh fuck. And get back in the cage. And yeah, I got smoked pretty hard there. But honestly, as how many mistakes and how stupid I was as a private, you guys didn't mess me up too
Well, it's
bad.
because you were good at your job though, for the most part. Like you had your fuck ups, but like when it came to like actually shooting and like actually doing the actual like live fires and shit, like you didn't really fuck up that bad. Like it was mostly just like, the little private shit that you have to like figure out on your own kind of thing.
Mm,
And you were likable too. You weren't a fucking weirdo.
yeah.
Like you were entertaining, and like you could kind of like, give us roast back a little bit, like in a like the way you do as a private, like kind of like subtle, like just like a little bit of, it's like you have to play it very carefully. It's like a little bit of sass, but like you can't be like just super open about it. But it's like if you talk back just a little bit, like people kind of like you for it. It's a delicate line to walk though.
Or the what was it? My Pretty Woman skit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my
Forgot why
pretty.
we had you have to do that.
No,
I
you
think it was
guys just.
Brownie. It was Brownie that wanted you to do that.
Yeah, you guys wanted me to do a skit from Pretty Woman, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And so, which I had never seen the movie before, and so I watched the movie, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do the scene where she goes up to the car, or whatever, is the hooker, and
Yeah.
whatever, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And so yeah, I remember doing that. But so yeah, those are my private stories. I mean, there's sure more, but yeah, that was the Ray Charles is definitely
Ray
the
Charles is iconic. I forgot about the water
icon.
cannon. And of
Yeah.
course, I remember the fast rope ones, the fast rope gloves.
Yep.
Yeah. So graduated Ranger School. Do you have anything to say about Ranger School? Because you went straight through, and after I put the curse of 3 Floridas on you.
Yeah, honestly, uh, Ranger School was kind of interesting for me because Derby phase, I got my first look. I had first look, and I was first go as a Bravo team leader, and the squad leader and the Alpha team leader both failed.
Was it
But
a
I got it.
recon?
No, it was so I don't know if it like changed or whatever, but ours was like, the first half I was as a Bravo team leader was to make sure round count was good, tie downs, all that
Oh,
stuff.
so it was like for the planning, as a BTL planning
Planning,
look.
yep, and then we took
And
that
then
on
like the
to
first, yeah.
react to contact, react to contact, and then indirect fire, and then get to our area, and then they switched over. And yeah, they said I had good what do you call it, violence of action and whatnot, so I got to go. And you're not supposed to, but I kind of checked out after. I'm like, I already got my go, like I'm chilling. And and lo and behold, you do the 3 days, and then you have like a refit day the next day, and then go back out for the other or not back out, but then you do 3 more days. And that next like the fourth day of it, we're switching over halfway through, and they call my roster number again to be um an alpha team leader. And I was like, what? Why am I getting called again? And
You didn't know that they gave you 2 looks regardless, right?
no, I didn't. And I was already like kind of checked I was so checked to the point where we are setting up in like a recon, right? We're doing like recon. And so, we send out the people to go do the recon. But I'm like
Well, doesn't
asking
the
people,
Alpha team leader do the recon?
maybe I was Bravo team leader. I
You
don't
might have been
remember.
Bravo team leader again. Because
Yeah, I might
the
have been
Bravo
Bravo
team
team.
leader, because that's how I got my go, is the BTL recon, and I just had to sit in the ORP and make sure the
Yeah,
ORP
yeah, you're
ran.
right. You're right. So I was Bravo team leader again. And everybody kind of hated me after this because I was asking people, I was like, I thought we were doing an ambush. And they're like, bro, we're doing a fucking recon. I'm like, oh, bro. I had no idea. I was checked that hard. And so
Damn.
yeah, people were kind of pissed because then like we did that again, right? And they came back, and the whole day, all those people failed except for me. And I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. But because when we were in the ORP, I was just told each person, I say, hey, write your sector sketch. Hey, you do this. Hey, you do that. I didn't do anything. I just told other people to do it. And I just sat in the middle and chilled and everybody did it.
Leadership.
Yeah. Leadership. And I got to go again. So I had 2 goes and my first one was solid, but the second one and people were pissed off. And I was like, hey man, like, so I say Ranger school is partially luck, partially luck with your looks and your goes. It's partially luck because if you get a shitty squad or depending on when's your look at, especially in the mountain and Florida phase, if you have a late look and people are tired or whatnot, you got a shitty squad, like it's kind of hard. But mountains definitely. That was when Hurricane Ike or Matthew? I think it was one of those 2. It was in 2018.
Oh yeah, no, I remember vaguely because I remember Savannah having to evacuate.
Yeah, but we had
too.
We had the tropical storm coming in us, so it rained on us for 10 days straight every day, and yeah, that was awful. And they almost tried to day one me, because so you're not supposed to graze, and I wasn't grazing, but I ate my MRE, but then I kept my heater, and what I did is I would like if I was going to bed, I would, because I brought a bunch of contractor bags, I would put the MRE heater at the bottom of the trash bag to warm, like dry out my feet. But this was during the day and I was cold because we were at the top of Hawk Mountain. And so I was cold, and so I had my heater out still, and I was using it to kind of warm my hands up. One of the RIs came by and saw that was out, and like him and the commander were like both like interrogating me and like telling me they're gonna day one me. And I was telling them like, no, I wasn't grazing. Like I literally just had this heater out to warm me up. And they're like, well, the rules. Like you're not supposed to have everything on. I'm like, man, I'm really about to get day one for keeping my heater out. Like critical thinking and warming my hands up.
Yeah.
And eventually they ended up getting me 2
spot reports.
Yeah. And said, if you get one more, you're gonna get recycled. So we're gonna keep your eye on you. And I kept my head down and I said, okay, and just did me. And I ended up getting a look as a weapons squad leader, got to go there. And then went to Florida, and then I got almost screwed over in Florida because so we had such a big class that they split our company into 2, like a Charlie 1, Charlie 2. And I got pushed over to Charlie 2, and they weren't tracking that I was in Charlie 2. And so day 7 comes around and people are already getting double looks and I haven't got my first one. And I'm like, I went up to the RI and I was like, hey, Sergeant, like, I haven't gotten a look at all. And guys are getting second looks. And they're like, well, let me check here. And they're like, oh, you're not even on here. I'm like,
bro,
all right, man.
Bro, what do you mean?
So they gave me a look, but my look was assault 1 or assault 2. And it was the first swamp movement. And I'm like, no, baby. Oh, perfect. Great. Just what I want. Yeah. I'm like, and then I see the guys that get the first look of Florida, and I'm like, y'all are so lucky. I was like, this is bullshit. and I got a no-go there, because we were supposed to hit this open field, and RPL got lost, didn't know what was going on, so I pretty much like turned into like telling it how we're gonna run this operation, and the RI the next day pulled me over. He's like, hey man, you did really good job, like super solid, but your PL got lost and the whole mission was a fail. So I'm going to have to give you a no. And I was like, damn. I was like, damn. So bro. I didn't even know if I was going to get a second look, and they gave me a weasel look on the 9th day.
Santa Rosa, baby.
No, Santa Rosa was the next night.
Really?
This is the 9th. Yeah, the 9th day. They gave me a look.
You do Santa Rosa on day 9.
So we did it. The last day we did Santa Rosa, boated over there, hit like an ambush, and then took LMTVs back.
Okay.
And then they dropped us off, and we had to like run like 3 miles or whatever through the camp with the ranger, like the signs every like quarter mile or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they gave me a look, and I was looking good so far as a weasel the first half, and then we come down to, and they give us 30 minutes to get to like move like a K, and it's at night, and then set up an ambush, or no, it was a raid, and the guy said, hey, as long as those guns are working, he's like, I want you to go cyclic for as long as you can go cyclic for, and if those guns are working properly, you're good. I said, okay. So I
Oh
get all the guys online.
man.
I get all the guys in place, and he's like, all right, I'll tell you when to start firing. I was like, all right. So I told him to start firing, and they're firing like never before, man. I'm like, yeah, going for like 10,
On
15
day 9,
seconds.
that's impressive.
Yeah, like probably 15 seconds in, they're still going. And then all someone like starts to like shoot flames out and stuff. And I'm like, he's like, all right, you guys are done. You're done. You're done. You're cut off. And the whole rest of the raid, they hit through, and we were just sitting there, and he just walked through, and yeah. And then I got to go. I woke up the next morning, the last day, and he gave me a go, and I was like, I'm done. Let's go. And yeah, so yeah, but that was, I mean, big part of it, especially throughout like Derby and whatnot, was, some luck involved for sure. But once you honestly, like, once you make it past that first the rap week, make it through all of those, I think you're pretty set out to pass, as long as you don't quit and you don't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
Like we had a kid in mountains who, you write the, what is it, like the critiques for the
The
RIs or
peers.
stuff.
Well,
Yeah, you
it's
do the
yeah, it's like
peers.
it's yeah, no, you're right. It's critiques.
And yeah, one of the kids, he wrote a very heartfelt message to about one of the RIs, and said some very, very interesting words. And yeah,
What do you,
apparently,
what do you say, Joe? Just say
um
it.
well, so a little brief story. This kid fake heat catted, and me and a couple other people had to carry him. It was like day 6, had to carry him down this mountain to load him up on the in a vehicle so they could take him to the hospital. Spent a couple days in there, but they pretty much like said he was fine. He didn't have any like a high core temp or anything, so he pretty much just like faked it type of thing, because he already had his go. And then he shows back up in the patrol base on the 10th day in the morning. So he skipped out on like 3 days. So
Bastard.
we all peered him. And then one of the RIs the entire 10th day that he was back was just calling his name out, saying, we better peer his ass. He's a piece of shit, whatever. And so the dude wrote a message like on the critiques, pretty much saying that this RI is a piece of shit, fucking sucks at his job, blah, 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 blah. And not a smart move, because that dude's that his unit, his sergeant major, is good buddies with the like commander at 5th RTB at the time. And yeah, so not only did he get day 1, he also I'm sure had some very interesting encounters when he got back to his unit.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid stuff. So as long as you don't do stupid stuff like that, keep your head down, you do your looks, help out other people on their looks,
Don't
not a piece
do
of
what Joe did the first day, his derby. Don't check out
yeah, don't check
either.
out, but also know when to work and when not to work. All right. You can't break yourself off. Don't try and be a team leader every single day. Right. What I would do is when we would go out on like in mountains or Florida, I'd carry the 240 or the heaviest thing I could carry. And so when I was the healthiest, right, when I was in the best shape, carry the heaviest thing out there that first day, you pass off, that you make sure you let everybody know that you carried the heaviest thing that first day, and you bring it up every single day so that you never have to carry something heavy again.
Oh, it's kind of a dick move, but carry and mountains that first day, because you Camp Merrill is like at a low elevation compared to the rest of mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And that first day, what they do is you walk up a fucking one of the many steep ass mountains to get to elevation, so that you're not like doing crazy elevation changes your entire time there. And that first day is usually the fucking worst day in mountains. One of the worst days in mountains is that first day when you got to go up like Coppermine Gap. I think Hogsback's another one. Which one did you do the first day?
Coppermine. And then
Coppermine was it's like literally just 2 miles, like nonstop up this fucking spur.
Yep.
Brutal.
And then yeah, we did the Hawk Mountain too, which I already did Hawk Mountain because I went up there in February to go do some land nav for EIB.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we went up Hawk Mountain already. So Hawk Mountain wasn't too bad, but it was funny because it was raining out, and we took like the actual path with this like stone steps, or not stone steps, but like rock path ish. And
Okay.
It was at night, and every time, every like 5 or 6 steps, you hear someone fall and their rifle hit the ground, and you just see fuck. People were just eating shit every time, and I'm just walking my head down, just like, oh man. But yeah, no, Ranger School was one of those things. It wasn't like, impossible or whatnot. It's just kind of annoying, kind of sucks, you know. You're either hungry or you're tired or you're both.
Usually both.
Yeah, but one favors more than the other for sure. And
Were you
yeah,
sleepy or a hungry ranger?
oh, I was hungry, man. I was hungry. I was so hungry. I became best friends with the recycles so I could, you know, they didn't want to give me or didn't want much food. So I'd take, you know, I did whatever I could do to get some extra food, you know. Um, but yeah, no, as long as you don't quit, you know, you don't do anything completely stupid and you're somewhat competent, which if you're there, you should be somewhat competent, you'll pass through. You may just be there for a while, you know.
Hey, yeah, that was my experience.
Yeah.
6 months. Gross.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed you didn't recycle. I was like, damn it, this motherfucker.
I
I was
know.
happy for you, but I was like, I wish he did like an extra Florida at least once, at least one extra Florida.
Yeah, no, I got pretty lucky and I went perfect time too because I went there. Started it was
In the
like
spring,
it was right after BRC is when I started.
Yep, same.
Yep, started and yeah, my 21st birthday was there on the 12-mile ruck and rap week. That was my 21st birthday. It's rap week 12-mile
Happy
ruck.
birthday, motherfucker. Go Heat Cat.
Yeah, people were saying happy birthday to me as we were doing 12-mile ruck, and then the RIs told us shut the fuck up, and I was like, okay, that's my birthday. But I did get double portions for the chow that night.
Oh,
Yeah, they gave
really?
me double portions because my birthday. Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Dude, that's kind of cute.
But yeah, so I graduated, went straight through, and then yeah, I ended up just hanging out in Savannah for like 2.5 months. Well, you guys were having some fun, and yeah, I just kind of got to experience the Savannah summer life, which is pretty nice. And then
And you were 21, so you could go downtown.
I could, yeah, and yeah, so hung out there, and while you guys are gone, and then you guys came back. I want to say like
It was a beginning of October.
yep, came back in October. Yep, and then yeah, and then that starts the new chapter per se.
Yeah. Dude, the 18 training cycle was fun because you were like we were at that point peers basically because you took the other saw, I think, didn't you?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So we were saw gunners together for a short stint, and then we went to did that training cycle. I don't really remember a whole lot about the 18 training or the 18 into 19 training cycle.
Um.
We did Ranger Ball.
Yeah, we did.
Dude, Ranger
20.
Ball. That was a fun one. That was
That
my
was
favorite
fun.
Ranger Ball. I've only done two, but that was my favorite.
Yeah, and that was the only one I did because the one that I was supposed to do was COVID, got canceled, and then
Yeah.
I got out before the next one. But yeah, no, that was a fun time. Good time.
Yeah, freaking dude. I remember because I was with my date and we were in that elevator, like we were like going back to our hotel room because we were both just hammered. And like we got in the elevator and we started like making out and shit. And like we didn't press the button to go up to our floor. And like you guys got in the elevator too. And we're like, oh, you guys are on the same floor as us. And we're like, no, and then we realized we're like, oh fuck. we didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was a good time.
And then 2019 deployment, we were initially not going to deploy, weren't we?
No, dude, it was going back and forth, back and forth,
It was
back and forth.
back and forth. They're like, "Oh, we're going," and then they're like, "Oh no, you guys are good. Go on leave. Don't worry about it."
Yep.
And then they're like, "No, you guys are going. Come back from leave." And a bunch of people came back, and then they're like, "Oh no, we're chilling, we're chilling." And then we ended up going to Afghanistan in 19. We stood up a task force down in Helmand at Camp Dwyer, doing some shit with with an SMU, and that was a fun deployment. It was we stood up a task force. We were like we were on like a big army base. So it was like the 82nd was there with us. Do you remember which brigade? I think it was 1st Brigade.
Yeah, you know, I actually when I did BLC, I can't remember, but one of the guys who was in 82nd at the time, he was there at the same time that we were.
Okay.
And I think it was 1st, if I remember right from what he said. But that was
yeah, because I had a buddy from Ranger School, a PL that was there as well. But dude, Dwyer was fun because we were like the cowboys on the camp. We got in trouble a lot of the time for like running around and fucking in our civilian PTs and then like riding in the back of trucks to the chow hall, which is only like a couple hundred meters away from our we were like living in these huts that had like 8 rooms and it was like 2 guys, 3 guys to a room. Like in the back of this little like group of these like yeah, they're like houses basically. and we were lazy, and we'd like jump in the back of trucks to ride, and then some fucking sergeant major from the 82nd bitch us out. But
Well, it was a necessity for the gym. The gym was damn near a
well,
mile
the
walk.
gym was a fucking mile long walk,
Yeah.
and if you didn't do it at night, like because we went in the summer, and in Hellman in the summer, that shit is fucking literally 120 degrees, and if you didn't take the fucking truck, you about heat cat on the damn way to the gym during the day. That gym was actually pretty good.
No, yeah, it was minus the bent barbells.
Oh, dude,
Un-
all the barbells were shit.
yeah, but no, that was a good gym. That was solid. Yeah.
And then we were doing vehicle interdictions, and we were like the QRF, so we just sit in the back of a 47 out in the desert for like 12 hours at a time with fucking Tejas, stinky ass fucking Afghans, and just sitting and sweating with the fucking, for the people that don't know about Chinooks, like they're and like in aviation in general, there's like different conditions. And so we'd be sitting in what's called level 2, which the auxiliary power is running, and it's just this fucking high-pitched whine for the entire time. The rotors aren't going, but it's this whine, and you're just sitting there in your kit in the fucking no shade inside the Chinook, just dying.
Mhm. Yeah,
And we
that
never got
was
to do anything cool except handle detainees. And didn't you fuck up a detainee?
yeah, I broke his nose, but it wasn't like completely on purpose. Um, but like, because that was when there was like 4 of them, and I had
Yeah.
my guy, and it wasn't intentional, right? It wasn't intentional, but I had the saw, and he was kind of like fighting back a little bit, and so I kind of just like threw him on top of the other dudes, and as I threw him, my saw turned into a battering ram, and as I threw him, the motion brought the saw battering ram straight into the dude's nose, and yeah, but I had to clean all the blood up and stuff afterwards, so, which was not
You
fun.
got blood all over the fucking litter too.
I know, and I was
We were like,
scrubbing
oh,
that, and
we're gonna give our fucking litter bearer AIDS, dude.
yeah, well, because they were asking like, "Oh, what happened?" And I shouldn't have taken credit for it. Like, oh, I don't know, it wasn't me. But yeah, it was like, yeah, it was me. So yeah, but no, that was a fun deployment for sure. I mean, I remember we had like a set routine, man. We
Yeah, dude. We'd like, if we weren't on the call for the day, we'd wake up. When did we wake up? It was like afternoonish.
well, I woke up in the mornings before everybody.
Oh
I'd
yeah,
go to
because
the
you were doing
gym.
your day trading kick.
Well,
You
no,
were.
no, that was before, but I was going to the gym in the morning to go
Mm,
lift weights because
hmm
then I would go with you guys in the afternoon and I would do like what else and then cardio
hmm
because I learned the first day I went to do cardio. I went to do it was like a 5 mile run with squad leader and I think it was just me and him. And we went to do a 5 mile run and never don't ever bring water or whatnot. And man, we get 2.5 miles down, about to turn around, and I have the worst cotton mouth of my entire life. And I'm dying of thirst. And I'm like, we still got to go 2.5 miles back. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And we left like kind of early in the morning. It was like 9, but yeah, no, I was not prepared. And I was like, I'm never
No,
doing cardio
dude.
outside here again.
It was August. I mean, we got there in July, so it was like July in the fucking in Hellman. It's like the hottest part of the year, and it's fucking. It was probably like 100 degrees by fucking 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I go work out in the mornings, come back, eat some food. You guys will all kind of start waking up, go get food. And then like if we weren't on that day or whatever, I would because I was right next door to you and I would just
hmm
hear a knock on the wall right next to me. And I knew what that was because I'd come in the next room with my chair. Super Smash Bros,
Oh,
baby.
dude, yeah.
Super Smash Bros.
We were on a Smash Bros kick that deployment because we brought Bob brought the projector and his Switch, and we had a leaderboard going, and we would just play Smash until it was time to go to the gym again.
Yep, it was that. And then the last like 3 or 4 weeks, got into the PUBG mobile kick. You were
hmm
having 4 people per room. 4 people were going like you had your own like people had their own cliques or squads, whatever that they would go and so I'd go with the other 3 people I'd be playing it with, which I think was trying to think. I think it was the JTAC. JTAC was one.
Yeah, yeah, JTAC, and then
F it was our FO, and then shit, I don't remember who the other person. Oh, medic, Doc. It was
Yeah,
Doc,
Doc.
and it was us four, and we
Meme
play.
hard, bro.
Yeah, we'd sit in that room and we'd play PUBG Mobile for, you know, 4 or 5 hours, then go get mid rats, and then play for another like 2 or 3 hours, and that was rinse and repeat.
Rinse and
Yeah,
repeat. Did
snap.
you go back on an early chalk?
Yeah, I went back like it was kind of stupid because I went back like 2 weeks early, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was
two
like,
weeks early, and then we started actually going. We went out to an outstation, and they were actually doing raids and shit.
yeah,
And we'd sit at that outstation for a bit. Yeah, because I don't remember you ever being there for that one, because that was when I was going through the fucking that breakup. Yeah, you were already back at that point, but you didn't miss out on a whole lot there. But that actually turned into more of an actual like, oh, we're doing shit now, instead of like every other day kind of thing.
yeah. No, that was because I remember like, I was just sitting, or I just woken up, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, hey, you got like an hour, pack all your stuff. You're hopping on the next bird out here. And it was like with me, and they, I think it was all of the tabs, which there was only like four of us
Mm-hmm.
that were there because the other ones were at a different base. And yeah, it was like us four, and then yeah, and we hopped on the bird and headed back like 2 weeks early, which I didn't really understand the point, but I was like, all right, whatever, you know.
Yeah,
So I came back and then waited for you guys to get back. And yeah, that was that. That was interesting. Pretty fun
yeah.
though. Pretty fun time.
No, it was fun standing that place up, and then working with that SMU, which we hadn't worked for before. I wasn't very impressed. I'm not going to say exactly who they were, but they weren't our usual compatriots overseas. They were a lot of them didn't have deployments, which I thought was hilarious. And so, like, remember the couple times we'd go out and like practice like the VI shit,
Yeah.
and they were like trying to tell us how to do SSE. And we're like, motherfucker, I've been on more deployments than you. Like, I get it, you're an SMU, but like, I know how to SSE a fucking car, bro. Like,
Yeah.
stop trying to be condescending.
Yeah. It was a good time though. Like, it was actually pretty chill, other than doing those and sitting out. Because it was fun initially, because initially we were just
We
chilling
were
in our
like,
room staging.
mm-hmm.
And then it switched to let's make this as dumb as we possibly can make it, which it made sense, but it was also like, damn, like really, yeah, sitting out in the desert for 12 hours cooking, getting back.
Hopefully, maybe gonna grab this guy that's in this fucking car.
Yeah. Or a lot
Yeah.
of times we would get spun up 45 minutes and they go, yep, nope, not in the zone, head back. And
Yeah.
so, but no, I mean, it was a good time. Really, it was like a nice little summer vacation of, playing some games with the boys, getting
We got
jacked.
big.
And
We got jacked, dude.
yeah, I got to 178 pounds then, which
Mm-hmm.
for right now, which my normal weight is about
For
160.
a
And
5'5" guy, that's pretty good.
okay, now we're just decreasing in inches, I guess, as the podcast goes on. But yeah, that was good. And then yeah, we got back and went on leave, and then got back from leave, and like a month
Dude,
later
we did EIB, and then we had literally just taken IRC, and I went over to weapons squad. I was a gun team leader. Joe was still in first as a saw gunner, and we fucking went. It was literally, yeah, it was like Christmas Eve, or not Christmas Eve. It was New Year's Eve, the day before New Year's Eve, and we went downtown. Woke up the next day. I woke up to the fucking one of my privates calling me. It's like 6 a.m. Calls me, and it's like, he's like, "Oh, this is specialist so and so with the MPs." I was like, "God fucking damn it." He's like, "Yeah, this guy got arrested for DUI. Like, you guys need to come pick him up." I was like, "Motherfucker." So I called his actual team leader. We get called into work, and they're like, "Hey, like, there's some shit going on overseas. Like, you guys need to be ready. Like, I don't know why you guys are drinking," because we were technically on IRC at that point. You're not supposed to drink. And then they had us like pack our bags, make sure our packing lists were good. And then like 5 hours later, they call us in. They're like, "Hey, you guys are going to Iraq for some shit."
Yep.
And we got blown out to Iraq at the beginning of 2020, and had some fun over there. We can't talk about it. We signed non-disclosure agreements about that, but
That
that
was
was
a
a
roll. It was
that
a
was a
roller
funny
coaster.
trip.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster of emotions.
dude.
Like that was so roller
We got
coaster.
so close to kicking shit off and to actually getting to do some fucking hood rat shit, and then it didn't happen, and then it just turned into another deployment of working out, fucking working out, eating, playing video games, watching movies, and then
Doing a
going back.
bunch of training
Oh yeah, because
events and stuff.
we got a new platoon sergeant, and then we're like, oh, we're gonna, we're prepping to take team BAF. Like, oh, we got to be good, and then COVID hit. Our platoon didn't get team BAF, and then like, oh, you're going as a JUC NCO.
Yeah, well that was interesting because we got back what was that, like February, late February or sometime around there, and or maybe early February. And yeah, we remember we went like pretty much straight to Kentucky to like do TFT because that we were planning to go on deployment again. And we're in Kentucky, we do all that, and then it was like the second to last day, we get that letter from was it like Secretary of Defense or someone saying, yeah, like no one can go home on leave because of COVID. And it was funny because like around that time too, I didn't even know anything about it. And my mom had texted me and was like, I hope you got your toilet paper. Ha ha ha. And I'm like, I
What
said,
do
what the
you
fuck
mean?
what are you talking about? Oh, you haven't heard? I was like, no, I've been out of the country for, 2 months or something. And I was like, no, what's going on? Oh, you haven't heard about COVID and everything? I was like, no. And yeah, and that, man, that threw a fucking wrench and everything.
Yeah,
That
didn't
that
go to
was
work
not.
for like a month, just hanging out in the barracks, getting fucking drunk,
Yeah. And then
watching Lord of the Rings.
doing the occasional, Zoom calls,
Dude, we never
whatever.
did any of that.
No, we did it the one though because it was remember it was about like politics and like
Oh, dude, that was like way late though. That was like
yeah.
after, so we moved out of the barracks. Kenzie got fucking BAH, and he was like, "Hey, like I need roommates. Like, let's go find a house." And like we fucking got a house, rented it, and it was you, me, Kenzie, and then Skim Beeble. Moved out of the barracks, which was awesome. So we were like living off post, big ass house, like 3,300 square foot, 5 bedroom, 3 bath. Uh, finally away from the bullshit.
Yeah, which
And
thank God we did that at that time
yeah.
because man, if trying to do that like later, I mean that we did it at the perfect timing. It was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Dude, the house, I fucking miss that place. The days, dude, where it was just, yeah, it was literally like 4 dudes, and we were like the few in the platoon that were like our age that like lived off posts, and so we'd invite people over and fucking throw ragers during COVID when they're like, oh, you can't hang out with people. And we're like, nah,
Nah,
nah.
we'd all ride to work together, and it was funny
Hmm.
because like after like a couple months, whatever, um, it was you and yeah, you and Kenzie were both my team leaders, and so we were all like in
We're
the
all,
same
yeah, all in the
squad.
same squad, and just fucking we'd like carpool to work together, show up because you were the senior tab, and then it was the two team leaders, and it's like we had a third of the damn squad living in the house, which that was a blast. Big sustain.
Yeah, makes us think a lot of good memories there, a lot of funny stuff, and yeah, no, it was a good time until I think you guys were all gone on.
Then we left for the 21 deployment to Iraq again, and then you got
Yeah,
out of the army.
yeah, but let's not forget about that wonderful incident at COVID quarantine and how
Oh
that made so
yeah.
much sense.
Yeah, so Joe was living off post, obviously in this house. Technically, he still had a barracks room, um, because he didn't rate for BAH at the time, and yeah, you tell it. They made your ass come in and go quarantine at
Oh,
Fort Stewart.
yeah, dude, it was it was a Friday night, and my girlfriend had just gotten over, and we are about to eat some Pan Express, have a couple of
Classic.
drinks, and watch some live PD. And I get a call from my squad leader saying, "Hey, man, um, you got 30 minutes. You got to pack up a bag, and you're going to Fort Stewart to quarantine." And I was like, "Well, what? What's going on? Like, why?" Well, everybody in the barracks has to go quarantine. I was like, "Well, I haven't lived in the barracks since before COVID." And I was like, can I just quarantine at my house? Like, no one else lives here. And but per rules of higher up people, they stated that I had to go because I had a barracks key. Which is funny enough because someone who we all love, but someone who had just moved out of the barracks that day ended up living at our place and didn't have to go quarantine, but I had to go quarantine for 2 weeks
Yeah.
at Fort Stewart. And yeah, that was the deal breaker for me. That pissed me off so much. I was like, yeah. And then, with COVID and all the other stuff that was going on, I was just like, yeah, man. And then my girl was starting PT school. She started PT school the day that I was supposed to get out of the army, and I was like, well, that's a little bit of coincidence. So yeah, I ended up getting out then in May of 2021. Well, not officially out. I got bamboozled. I
You
got
got
swung back.
bamboozled and you fucking signed up for the National Guard.
Yeah, I sure did. I signed up for the Guard, Georgia National Guard. So, which, it's not horrible, but I did it mainly, to did it for the bonus, and I got my bonus this time, and I did it, for an easier transition because kind of moving away from everybody and going up to college and stuff, and I was like, be at least nice 1 week in a month to kind of go and talk about army stuff, whatever, to some other people, and kind of made some connections, with civilian side and whatnot. So now I got just like a little bit over a year left in that contract, and then I will be done.
Nice.
Sayonara. So yep.
Yep.
But
So there's there's Joe's story.
yeah, now I'm just
Life
going to
story, dude.
college. And I'm just going to
Student.
college.
It's hilarious because you're in Dahlonega now, so you're up by Fifth RTB.
Yep. Yeah, right by there. Yeah, probably like 15 minutes away. But yeah, I'm right there. I'm at UNG with all the cadets, that whole program and stuff. And yeah, no, it's a good time though. But definitely way better going back to college. But I tell you what, it was so weird. First time sitting down in the class, first time again, and I felt like I hit pause for 4.5 years and then hit resume. I'm sitting down in the classes, 24 years old at that time, and doing English 101 or 1101, and I'm like, bro, what's going on, man?
What is this shit?
Yeah, but yeah,
Question is, did you ever pass Algebra 2?
oh yeah, I'll tell that real quick. So my arch nemesis, right? I come back going to college, right? First semester, I get my classes, and it's college algebra 2 again. I'm like, oh man, we're gonna
Oh
have a
man, am I gonna
repeat.
drop out again?
Yeah, am I gonna drop out again? I was like, well, I can't enlist and active again because I've already went to the guards. So I guess I gotta kind of do this, and yeah, I actually did it. This time. So yeah, my arch nemesis has been beaten.
Good.
So, but yeah, no, that's the story of me. Nothing too crazy. Didn't do too much. Had a lot of fun time, a lot of good stories, and so
Got 2
now I'm
deployments
just,
out of it, so more than
yeah.
a lot of people nowadays.
Well, I could be going on a third here if I wanted to, but I don't think so because I signed
Dude,
that contract, and I'm trying to get my degree.
it's not going to be that nice 4-month Ranger deployment, dude.
Oh, will not.
That's the one
Yep.
thing that's nice about Regiment is that our deployments they were frequent, but they were short.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Definitely nice. It was like a good pace tempo. Kind of knew what was going on besides our incident. But yeah, no, it was nice. It was like short, fast, and hit it hard. A lot of other people did it. But yeah, no, it was a nice little system. A lot more manageable of being gone for 3 to 4 months than a year. So yeah, it was a good system, and yeah, a lot of good memories. A lot of good memories at the house, man. Oh yeah, but yeah, that's the story of me. Nothing too crazy, but yeah.
Good shit. Well, we've definitely pushed past. I think we're at an hour and a half right now, which is fine. I'll probably just upload this all as one. I'll see if there's like a good like midway point I can split it in if I choose to split it into 2. But yeah, we'll just finish out one piece of advice for anyone that's wanting to go Ranger. Besides, don't quit, because that's the easy one.
Yeah, I would say obviously probably the basic is make sure you're in shape enough. is definitely one, but you know, and I always say it, but I'd say, you know, yeah, I gotta have a good why. You know, have a good why you want to do it. You know, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but like, you know, if you go in there, and your reason is like, I just want to be a ranger, a lot of times that isn't good enough. And you know, I would just say you got to have a good reason. Make sure you're in shape, and yeah, you know, obviously the don't quit, but yeah, I would just say, and do your research. You know, there's a lot of stuff you can do to prepare for it. Like I said, you know, do the land nav, watch his videos, you know, because once you take that aspect out of it, then it's essentially, you know, you're just doing what someone tells you to do, and you know, you're just sucking the suck, and that's it. You know, it's not crazy. People have done it before. People will continue to do it. So yeah, nothing too crazy. Just gotta have a decent why of why you want to do it.
That's a good one. That no one said that yet. Yeah, if it's just, it's like, oh, I want to be ranger. It's like you need to have more of a explanation to yourself as to why. For me, it was like, hey, like they have good survivability and they're actually going and doing shit.
Yeah, I mean, mine definitely was like, you know, part of me. I was always a small kid growing up, always a small little twig. I finally made it onto the varsity team for football at 5'6", 135 pounds, and I
You
played for a
just
six.
submitted your 5'6".
At that time, I was, and
Oh, okay.
I played for a 6A school, and I made it on varsity and played with a broken wrist, and I had a big cast on my hand, and I still played, and so that was a big step up for me. It was like I wanted to see what I could do. I knew mentally I was very strong, but I said I wanted to push myself and see what I had left in the tank, and also, you know, one of those stories of like I was on the sidelines for football. I was, you know, a lot of times I didn't start. I was the JV player my whole year. And but you do all the practice, but you never get to really play. And so I was like, well, if I do the military, if I'm going to do all this training and commit a certain amount of time to it, I was like, I want to go do the stuff. And so, you know, the higher up the chain you go in the military, the more likely odds you have of actually going to get on a deployment or go do stuff. And so, you know, that's a good reason if you want to go do all the training and you want to go get to actually use the training, then that's somewhere I would suggest you want to go. But yeah, have a good why.
Good. I dig it. We'll cut it there. Joe, thanks for coming on. You don't really have you don't do the whole social media thing, so we won't need to plug your socials here, but appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks for having me. And yeah, I'll continue to stay up to date with your videos. And yeah, if you ever have me on again, more than
Oh, dude.
open.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have a throughway podcast with you, me, and Shoemate sometime in the near future for sure.
Oh, that's gonna, yeah, like I said, that's gonna be a 7-hour podcast.
That's gonna be a long one. It'd be fun to do that one live. I
Oh,
think.
yeah. No, that would be.
I think we should do that live. I'll figure it out and we'll do it live so we can take like live questions and shit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good luck with that.
We'll just start talking shit to everyone.
The viewer count starts going down after each
Oh,
question.
dude.
Someone leaves.
Oh, dude. Yeah. We'll fucking, yeah, we'll make that happen. But cool. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Leave a like on the video, fucking comment down below if you got any questions. Joe monitors the comment section every now and then too. So if you have a specific question for Joe, he'll probably be able to fucking answer it too. So, but other than that, take care. And we'll see you this coming Friday. See you.
See ya.